Hey, good. How are you? We good? All right, doing? The boys good? Oh boy. All right. Yeah, I think we'll get started. I know it seems like this thing doesn't work, but this is for the viewers at home. So hello, hello. Um, the live streams have worked out well, and I'm going to use them as an example for our teachers, so they're not so nervous about it. I will say that it does probably add like a little bit on the waistline, but that's just the camera. Um, Welcome. Thank you for coming out. I want to really take some time to acknowledge some of the people that helped make this happen. Mrs. Romeo is our newest member of the building administration. Mr. LaBianca retired in June. Rubs it in our face every day. But I'm really fortunate to have someone like Ms. Romeo here who's familiar to the staff and students, especially during this time. Obviously, last year with the transition and everything happened with the passing with Mr. Grable, it was a difficult year to transition after dealing with that, and then to have to deal with some things throughout the year, including shutting down in March. Having someone like Ms. Romeo who knows the staff and students to be able to help us through this has been a tremendous asset, and I really appreciate it. So welcome aboard. I want to thank Philip Hurst and Ben Ryan, our media production gurus. They've been a huge help during this, and even with graduation last year, we were able to have a ceremony that I think really spoke to the core of what Mount Sinai is about, which is doing things together. And we were able to have a ceremony where the class could be together. The senior class officers really helped in making that plan come through. It was a difficult time. The students missed out on a lot. They're continuing to miss out on a lot. And if there's one thing I can say about where we are right now, is that at least this is a transition back to hopefully more better days ahead. And that's what this is. This is just a transitional time. I've been asked by Mr. Brosdale to share that with you, to use that as like really the mantra. He understands, and the Board of Education understands, that a lot of the things that we have to do are out of our control, and that we're going to do whatever we can to try and make sure that students and staff are safe, and that the hybrid plan is one option for grades 6 through 12 that we're using. There's also a full virtual plan if you choose to do that. I know there was some questions about the deadline for that. I'll ask that now, since this is the last parent meeting, that if you can let me know by the end of the week if your intention to do a full remote, would appreciate it. I know there was an earlier deadline, but because I'm having this meeting and to give some time for people to get all the information to make an informed decision, just let me know, even for those people who are watching. So that's kind of where we're at. Not ideal for anybody. Certainly not ideal for me. This is my 25th year. I'm entering my 25th year of education. I got into this business to be around kids, not to be away from them through a TV camera or a computer. Really, one of the sad things about all this is that we want to make sure that our kids are being supported emotionally, socially, and I'm hopeful that this hybrid plan is a step in the right direction. Don't have a crystal ball, but I'm going to kind of try to walk you through what the first few days might look like. By now, you should have received what you have in your hands in the mail. If you didn't by tomorrow, please give guidance a call. That was sent home on Friday via snail mail. Let's say that. But I don't want to offend the USPS, especially not now. I want to make sure that you get it. So if you haven't gotten it, please call the main office. Please call the guidance office tomorrow. It should have your student schedule in it, as well as the letter with the health questionnaire. Those were the two enclosures: your student schedule and the health questionnaire. A lot of what has come up over these last few months through our reopening committees, that included parents, students, teachers, building leadership, district leadership. It was kind of addressed in the letter in terms of some of the nuts and bolts of the day-to-day things that maybe you would expect to be different. So I'm really not going to cover too much of what's in the letter other than the schedule. So if you choose the hybrid in-person schedule, it's cohort 1 and cohort 2, split up by alpha, last name. When we sat early on in the process, we felt, again, when I say we, please remember this is a shared decision. This is not 2 or 3 people in a room. This is about 20 people, social workers, psychologists, and if you go online, you can see exactly who was on our reopening committee. So a lot of people ask, why did we pick the AABB model, which is now what I'm calling cohort 1 and cohort 2 coming in on Monday and Tuesday, and cohort 2 coming in on Thursday and Friday. The decision was a couple of things. The parents in the group felt that it did give consistency for employers, that you could tell them at least that you could come into work 2 days concurrently, or possibly even 4 or 5 if you add in the Wednesday that your child may be in school, will be in school. The other thing was in terms of consistency with delivery of instruction. The teachers felt that it was a better model. Again, nothing of this is ideal. It's a better model to be able to see your child, your student, 2 days concurrently. I would have to agree that as a classroom teacher, I would rather, if given the option, other than AB, the consistency for me would probably drive me nuts after about 3 weeks of trying to say, okay, wait a second, it's an A day, it's a B day, I don't know. So we felt that having the kids 2 days in a row, especially with when you add in the science labs, running with the phys ed class, we didn't want to change that up too much because we believe that it was really something that worked. So we're going to maintain cohort 1. When they come in on a Monday, it'll be an A day, B day. So they'll get all their classes. So nothing really changes in their schedule. Okay. For the first week of school, and this is a common question, well, Mr. P, there's 2 days off on a Monday. We're going to be chipped 2 days. It's 2 days. So right now we feel pretty good that if we are out for an extended period of time, it does eventually even out if you start talking about Thanksgiving and things like that. If we see that something goes awry and we need to adjust it, we certainly will. Okay. This is a fluid, living, like Mr. Brazil always says on his phone blast, document. Okay. None of this is ever set in stone. This is we just want to transition back. So please remember that as I keep saying a lot of this stuff. Okay. Cohort 1 comes in Monday, Tuesday. On Tuesday, September 9th, it's going to be their first day of school. We want to celebrate that as much as we can. We know that the masks, we know that the not being there with their complete grade with their friends is not going to be the same, but we want to try to celebrate that as much as possible. I'm really trying hard with the custodians to bring the building to life. And I think your kids will be pleased when they walk through the door that at least they're back in school, seeing the shiny floors, seeing their classrooms again. Please understand that that's one of the main goals of this entire thing. Okay. Wednesday of that week will be, for the full remote students, will be their first day of school. And we want to celebrate that. Even though the decision has been made that they don't come into the building, we're expecting that the teachers who have those students on their rosters check in with those students through video. Okay. Through some type of Zoom call, maybe a phone call to start and say, hey, can I catch up with you later? Can I see what you look like? Can I get to know you? They're going to have all day to do that. Thursday, Friday. Yep. Yeah, I am. Did I not say that? Breaking it up? I've done this a few times now. I'm sorry. I'm going to do my little spiel, and then we're going to have group questions, and then at the end, we'll have about 15 minutes for personal questions where you may not feel comfortable to bring them out. So, good question. So, Wednesdays will be full in person. The Thursday will be the first day of school for cohort 2. Okay? So, it's important for us as a staff, again, to celebrate the idea of being back in school, so we wanted to be able to do that. What is your child going to do when they pull up? Okay, whether you're dropping them off or whether you're taking a bus. The buses, just like we're in hybrid schedule, trying to cut things in half, we're expecting that the bus routes, transportation is working on that right now, that the bus routes will be cut in half as well. Okay, might be a little bit off here and there, but that's what we're looking to do. Okay, when your child gets dropped off, they're going to have the health questionnaire with them. You were sent home a copy. I will be providing more copies in their homeroom, so they will have enough for at least the first couple of weeks. My plan is that eventually, if we are continuing the hybrid model, we will have a health check app. Okay, it's out there already. I didn't want to overwhelm people with having to download apps and explaining how to use it. I want to use it a little bit first with a small group of students, and then roll it out to the masses. So in the first few weeks, I will ask that you kind of use a traditional method of taking the temperature at home before you even put them in a car, before you even put them in a bus. If someone's driving them, please just do a quick temp check and bring that in. 9th and 10th graders will be going to the gymnasium. 11th and 12th graders will be going to the cafeteria, where they will wait until first period. Okay. The health questionnaire will be collected. If they don't have a health questionnaire, they will be directed to the main entrance where the nurses will be performing a health check. Now, why are we choosing for them to be home? We don't want them coming to school if they have a temperature. The only way you would know that is if you did it before they left your house. So I know there was some debate about, well, why isn't the school doing it? I can tell you, and I don't want to advertise this, even though there's about 400 people watching me right now and the people are sitting here. I'm going to have my little temperature gun. I'm going to kind of say, hey, come here. I want to check your temperature. What I don't want to say, and what I don't want parents to get kind of used to, is I don't want you sending your child to school if you feel like they're not feeling well. Okay. That's the important part of the health screening before they even come. Okay. The nurses will be in the main area. They will have an isolation area. So the students that don't have it, if they do have something, present with some symptoms, they will be put in an isolation area until we can do a more comprehensive screening. So they really won't even be coming into the building. That was important for us to designate those two areas. So the lobby is really the only area where potentially someone who comes to school that hasn't been checked is as far as they'll get. Okay. When that all occurs, the day for us is going to try to be, again, aside from having mandatory mask wearing when you're in the common areas, teachers will be allowing mask breaks at their discretion if they feel that they're properly social distanced. We have some classes, and the reason why we did the hybrid was to have classes smaller so that students can perhaps, take a mask break, again, properly social distanced in the classrooms. Other than that, your child's schedule, like I said, will be followed as if it was a normal day from 7:30 till 2:02. Cafeteria will be running. We will have breakfast and lunch programs, as I said in the letter. There will be a breakfast kiosk down here for the 9th and 10th graders, and the 11th and 12th graders will have breakfast in the cafeteria. Lunches, right now, we've gone through all the numbers. We're fairly confident that we could fit just about everybody in the lunchroom, again, being properly social distance. On some periods, we may have a little bit of overflow in classrooms. We will also have a few classrooms set up in case there's students who may want to go eat in the classroom. There may be some students who feel more comfortable in doing that. So again, we could have even more distance so they can take their mask off. We will be moving student desks into the cafeteria. Most importantly, because we want to use that as an instructional area for the non-lunch periods, but also because we want to be able to not have the temptation there of, hey, let me slide over and slide back, and at least for the first few weeks, and then we'll see if things are going well. I'll be talking to Mr. Brosdale again. This is a fluid kind of plan, okay? In terms of some after-school activities, again, I'm just trying to go through a day for you. Right now, we're kind of hopeful from what we just heard from the governor that September 21st, sports might be starting up. So we're using that date as the date for clubs, for sports, hopefully, and then after school, extra help, those types of things. We're bringing back after school buses. So right now, we're not going to start the school year with anything after school, but we're hopeful within the first few weeks that as things open up even more, that they'll be available. And then I'm kind of looking at maybe like an office hours type of thing where teachers would make appointments with parents and students so we can kind of control the numbers of students that are staying after school. Okay. So to get to the instructional part a little bit after kind of going through the day, your child comes to school on Monday and Tuesday. They're in cohort 1. What are they expected to do on Thursday and Friday? You notice I left Wednesday out. I left Wednesday out because for now, again, fluid plan, it has been deemed a remote-only day. So that is a day that if you've chosen the full remote option, teachers will use to connect with those students from their classes that have the full remote option. It is technically being deemed a non-instructional day for the in-person hybrid model. Okay. That does not mean that from time to time, as we continue with this, we're hoping to bring that back as a rotational basis. That's my number one goal. Okay. Have a cohort in on Wednesdays. But before that, there might be something, posted that your child might be asked to do. Again, that's going to be a discussion with the teacher. They'll, share that with you, your child. What I don't want to happen is, Mr. P, you said that Wednesday there's no instruction and my kid had a 10-question worksheet he had to do. Okay, well, let's talk about it. I understand what I said, but again, we're trying to make sure that kids are getting what they need. So I just want to prepare you for that. Synchronous learning, right? What does that mean? That means what we have when a student comes to the building. That's synchronous learning. They see the teacher, they're getting the instruction directly from them. What does the remote plan look like? What does the remote part of their day look like? Well, I can tell you, we understand the complications that happened in the spring. We understand that the students may not have been engaged as much as we would normally like, as parents and as teachers, okay? And as parents and as teachers. We understand that. I can tell you that the classrooms in this high school are getting equipped with webcams. They are getting equipped with brand new computers. Okay, part of our issue last year was the teachers weren't in the building to use their files, to use their computers. They were in the same boat that a lot of parents were in. They didn't have the technology they needed to do a lot of the things we're expecting them to do now. Okay, so as I back up a little bit, what is that day supposed to look like? The expectation is that after the first days of school, that your child has continuous learning, not what they did on Monday and Tuesday do they do on Thursday and Friday. That is not what our vision is, okay? Our vision is that your child should be engaged on the days they're not in school with either videos, with work, perhaps live streaming. I'm not going to say mandated live streaming because that's a lie, okay? And I don't like to lie to people, okay? What I want you to understand is the expectation is there, the tools are there, okay? We are equipping teachers with webcams in their rooms, with Screencastify to be able to edit videos that they can upload, whether they choose to videotape themselves when no one's in the room, whether they choose to videotape the lesson while they're doing it in front of the smartboard, because the webcam is here and the smartboard's here, okay? Children are there, okay? So I know there's some privacy issues. Even among parents, there's privacy issues. So I understand that. That lesson is there. Now, if you're not an educator, you may think, well, I want my child in front of a computer for 39 of the 40 minutes. After the bell rings, they should be here, and they should be in front. I can tell you as an educator, again, after 24 years, I've spent 10, 11 years in the classroom, a good lesson, and I've observed hundreds and thousands of teachers, a good lesson does not have 39 minutes of a teacher standing in front of a smartboard, okay? What a good lesson has, and what I give a highly effective rating to, is about 10 minutes of guided instruction. Explain the concept, explain the time period, explain the unit we're trying to do, give a student a task to do, come back, discuss it. So those portions make up a 40-minute class, because I want to know what the kid got out of it. So what a teacher might do, okay, and with my discussions with teachers, what it might look like is I do my 10 minutes. Hey guys, we're going to talk about the War of 1812. This is the causes of the War of 1812. We're now going to break from that video. I'm going to do a worksheet. The worksheet's up on the Google Classroom. For those of you at home, I want you to complete using your notes, using the video you just saw. I want you to complete that. Okay, turn it in. All right. And if you have any questions, private message me. I'll get to you later. Or come in on Thursday with the question, and we'll talk about it as a class. That's how I anticipate, generally speaking, it going for at least until we get the ball rolling. Again, this is a fluid plan. Okay, teachers have been trained. They'll continue to be trained. We have training set for the conference days next week. So I really hope you understand that we're going to be supporting them as academic, administrators from that piece to make sure that that's happening. Okay, that's again how we envision it to go down. A lot of questions were asked about grading. Right now, we're sticking with number grading. Right now, we're sticking with, we're looking at perhaps a schedule with testing, in terms of when a teacher gives a test. We're going to be meeting with teachers early on, okay, to make sure we develop something that's fair and equitable, to make sure that a child isn't overwhelmed. Again, we want to kind of get back. Remember, we've been shut down 3+ months. If you include the summer vacation, it's 6 months that a child hasn't seen the inside of a classroom. Okay, so that's first and foremost what we're going to be focusing on. All right, I think I'm pretty good there. Like to keep to about that 20-minute mark of my spiel. Again, good educator. I don't like to ramble on. So I'm going to open up the questions, and since you were so kind to wait, okay, you're allowed 3.5. And then if someone wants to give you their other half, you can have another. Good. Senior portraits. Great question. It's in my letter. We actually just got off the phone with Life Touch today. Life Touch threw us a small curveball. They did tell us that they weren't going to do the drape. So that's why we didn't do it over the summer. Okay. So my brain started working because I am not one of those guys that wants to have any kind of sacrifice because of COVID for our seniors. Right? Some things are going to happen, but senior pictures shouldn't be one of them. I am working with the cap and gown company. I'm going to be having a website go up by the end of the week. A blast will go out. A letter will go out. You will order your cap and gown. It will go to your house. Your child will have their cap and gown, and we will have a picture day as we normally would with their cap and gown. And that picture will go to the yearbook. I have to use Life Touch. They sync with our yearbook. Okay. So I know there was some speculation about using another company. I don't know. I heard some, but I worked really hard with my assistant, Miss Power. She's great with handling a lot of that. And our company that does the caps and gowns is going to be doing an online ordering where it's going to go right to your home, and the kids will have their own. That's what they'll wear on their graduation day, and then take their pictures. Okay. Good. Second question. Okay. Okay. I got where you're going. The question was about HVAC. I can tell you that the person who performed the HVAC audit clearly said, and I was in the meeting, we were the only district that had called them at that time to conduct an audit of all 3 buildings, including the offices at district office. I can tell you that because we're the newer building, okay, in terms of when it was built, a lot of the HVAC filtration depends on the unit and what the unit can handle. Even in your own home, most of the time you want to put in like a MERV 14 in your own home's unit, that thing's going to blow up probably within a month, if not sooner. Okay. We have the highest rated MERV filters being installed in this building. 13 is the number I heard. I know I'm on video camera right now. I could be off by a number or two, but that's what I've heard. 13. Correct. The filters are here. Boxes came in. We got exhaust fans. They were drilling through I heard it. I was trying to get work done. They were drilling through because there's some interior spaces that didn't have the proper airflow. So I believe in this building, there were about 6 installed. Okay. The district invested, and the Board of Education and Mr. Brosdale was great about doing this. Like I said, we were one of the first districts to get it done. To get the audit done, and then to act on the recommendations. Unfortunately, a lot of this too for the other buildings was in the bond that didn't go back. Mr. Brosdale will be talking about that, not now, but maybe in the future if we have to do other improvements. They all got upgrades. They all got filtration upgrades. The problem with those buildings is because they're older, their MERV rating that they can put in isn't as high as some people might like. But the filtration and everything was audited. They were same thing. Exhaust fans put in. They were, completely, they gave us recommendations about like window air conditioners and those kinds of things. So it was a very comprehensive thing, and they're continuing to work on it probably up until the day school starts. There we go. Okay. Huh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I the question is about the Wednesdays. I completely agree, and I can tell you that I want to get schools open. I don't want to have after 14 days us shutting down. That's my main focus right now. Okay. At that 14-day or so mark, if we're seeing we're going to continuing opening, I can tell you that I know I've spoken to Mr. Brosdale. Wednesdays are going to be coming back very quickly, mostly because we don't have a large number of opt-outs. We really don't. Okay. Right. Yep. Well, again, for me, you cannot replace in-person instruction. Okay. I'm sorry, but you just can't. Okay. As much as we'd like it to look like the way we want it to look, like I described, I don't think we can. That's just my personal opinion. You do what you think is right for your child. that day, because we heard a lot of issues from parents that students weren't being checked on, okay, that there wasn't that connection between the classroom teacher and the students on remote when we were full remote. That day to start off is being put in there as a non-instructional day so they can do that, especially at the younger levels. Okay, I understand and that's why I said don't be surprised if your AP teacher puts something on there for the Wednesday and says, "Hey, this has got to get done, guys." I can tell you that most of my AP teachers that I've spoke to are also into the whole live stream thing where they say you got to be on when we're on because you can't really miss what we're doing. The problem, the 100%, and we're still waiting on guidance about the adjustments like they did in the spring. We did actually very well as a school on our AP, considering our AP results were excellent, and we'll be sending that out as part of our state of the district. So I was really happy to see that, especially in such a challenging year. But you're 100% right, and I don't see that lasting long. Especially, please, whoever you believe to, things go well. Okay, that's our goal, is to get them back more and do more. Okay? Yep. Yep. hmm Well, no, not necessarily. The question is about labs and lunch. It's an alternating day, so that's why even though we say I'm going to start really using cohort 1 and cohort 2 because I don't want to have confusion. We're still going to do an A-day, B-day thing. So on the days that your child has the lab rather than lunch, we're still going to allow, and our rooms are going to be equipped with larger receptacles, especially those rooms that host a lunch. We're going to try to put them in those same rooms that they can have their food. A question that came up a lot in terms of cleanliness. We are assigning custodians to a wing. This is why the meeting was inside. See that? It's pouring out. So we're going to be having custodians assigned to a wing. I'm not going to lie and say that every desk is going to get wiped down between periods because A, the guidance says you can't clean when there's students present, and B, when a classroom is empty, it will be getting cleaned. So my right now, our goal is 2 to 3 times a day that a room is being wiped down. Okay, so we're looking to follow a schedule. We're looking to have kids the opportunity to get food and go to a classroom and get their instruction. Okay, go ahead. hmm Yes, except for that first week. Yes. Okay. Correct. Okay. Okay. Great. Go ahead. Mhm. Great question. So the question is what's expected when they're home. So we are really trying to stick to that. We are really trying to stick to that 8 a.m. To 2 p.m. work being first of all put on there, or videos being put on there for students to view. Okay. Um, if a live stream's being done, they might. This is all going to be on the Google Classroom for the teacher saying, "Look, I'm having live streams at 7:30," so that the kids will know what they have to do. The biggest change that I think from the spring is that teachers have been trained in Google Classroom, and there's going to be a turn it in feature that's going to act as like attendance. So there's going to be a record for each class that a student has to turn in an assignment to act as like an attendance marker. Okay. Now, that's just a simple assignment that they say, I'm here, I'm good. Then the assignment needs to be completed. Okay. So I guess to try and really hone into your response is we're going to have a feature where they're going to have to check into each class every day that they're not in school. Okay. What they have to do after that, whether it's watch a video, like I said, do the worksheet, hand it in, ask me any questions you have. I'll try to get to you by the end of the day. If not, if let's say it's a Wednesday, I'll get to you on a Wednesday. That was the other part of why we had a Wednesday too, was to try to help kids on that day, like answering, like kind of like office hours. So what we're expecting is their day to be in that window. Okay. Might a teacher say, okay, I'm not having live stream today, but I'm uploading this video, it'll be up by 11 a.m. Might their first period class now go into like where it would be like fourth period? That might happen. Okay. So we're still going to have that fluidity in terms of their schedule. Okay. That's the way I'm envisioning it. Again, this is the plan, right? A plan is only as good as the paper it's written on until you start doing it. Okay. Yeah, you'll know ahead of time. They'll say, look, I'm going to have a live stream for those Thursday, Friday kids on Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. You have to be on there. No, because live streams would only be during their scheduled class time. So there would be like really no overlap in a sense. Does that make sense? Like, uh, well, I'll be discussing this with the faculty and, ironing out these things. But like same thing with tests. We were saying like in person, maybe creating like on Thursday, it would only be like 2 or 3 subjects. So they're not coming in taking like 5 tests on Thursday, creating almost like a schedule when they're in person. I'm going to be pushing for that, just at least for the beginning. You know what I mean? If there's going to be like your way you would a traditional test, to do it when they're in person. We are looking for ways to lock exams too, where there's like digital signatures. Miss Davidson is looking into connecting that. There's software out there that connects to Google Classroom. So if we see that we are staying on the hybrid plan for an extended period of time, there's ways that the exams can be locked, and there's different versions and things like that. Okay. 100%. And that's something I want to avoid. I think just in the beginning, if we want to be able to do, keep it more authentic until we can get that kind of ironed out. Yep. Extra help, I think, yeah, I answered before. Yeah, no worries. Right in the get-go, like I said, about September 21st, if things open up, we're hoping to bring back after school and things like that. Yes. Yep. You can still request a device even if you're doing the in-person hybrid. So there's a form online, or you could just email me. Okay, you could email me. I'm requesting a device. We're giving out laptops for those who are requesting it. Okay, right. She could bring it to school. We could connect her onto the Wi-Fi too. Yeah, I'm encouraging students to do that. We did it a lot last year too. Kids started bringing in their own devices. Not to get off topic, because I want to talk more about the reopening, but the goal is that ninth graders coming in by the end of the year, okay, will have a device. That was the goal from our tech plan, like that was put out 5 years ago, that we were waiting for the Smart Schools bond money to come out, which now we got, which is why we're outfitting all the classrooms with brand new computers, and then rolling every year after that. So in 4 years, every student in high school will have a device. It's if it's been working for you, use yours. You know what I mean? We'll connect it. The tech department here, they'll come down. We'll connect it onto the school's Wi-Fi, which is also getting upgraded. So if that's what they're comfortable with and it works for you, that's fine. Okay, I think you're up. Mhm. Correct. It may not be. Yeah. Let me clarify that. The question was about going in first period. No, what we're saying is every day there has to be a tap into each class, in a sense. Turn it in. We're calling it turn it in to each class. Does not necessarily have to be at the time the class took place. No, does not. But we need to. What we're going to be asking to you, and I'm going to be asking for the information, is say, hey, Johnny didn't clock. He didn't check in his social studies when he wasn't in school those 2 days. I want to know why. Right. We're going to be able to run reports off that, almost like attendance, and say, hey, that person hasn't been in. Correct. 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 Yeah, but yeah, and remember, if a teacher's expecting, like I'm having a live stream at 8:30, I'm going to be pushing that. You know, I won't make it to be on a live stream. I mean, I'm going to be supporting the teacher and getting to that. Okay, because I do believe that connection needs to happen, and try to keep it as much of a school day as possible. No, I said it. This is why I moved it into the. Yep. Hmm. No, no, all the teachers are expected to keep it continuous. Absolutely, yeah. No, actually, the opposite is we do not want them doing what they did on Monday and Tuesday again with Thursday, Friday. Now, look, and a good teacher, there's a if there's a concept that they feel through their own like checks, an exit ticket, something. They say, look, both groups didn't get this. I want to kind of recover. That's teachers' right. Yeah, correct. Especially since we still have the regions to think about. I mean, the state hasn't updated us on that. They sent out region states. They did so with the caveat that this is a fluid situation. We're constantly monitoring it. My personal belief is with all the inconsistencies with who's doing remote, who's doing this, I think we're going to have another year. But I don't know who's listening from NICET, so I'm not going to make that call. I don't have a crystal ball, but that's the expectation, that we cover the curriculum. Correct. 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 Okay. Yep. And if they don't, let us know. Yeah. Am I getting too close? Sorry. Great question. We're trying to really celebrate that first day of school, so no, not for the first week. Tuesday is for cohort 1. Technically, cohort 2 is really not starting until Thursday. The teachers, we all that there was some questions about that. Again, we're gonna have so many different. The school looks different. We're gonna be acting different. Half the population is gonna be here, so we really want to just try to get through that first week and then expect that they log in. Okay. Yep. hmm 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 I know. I don't. The question is about like when they're supposed to check in. Look, things happen. Okay, discuss it with your teachers. But I know I sat in those meetings, the same ones, and I'm not looking to point fingers here. One of the biggest concerns, and it was a concern of ours as educators, was that we were trying to get away from that. Again, things happen. Okay, just let work with your teacher about that. But generally speaking, the expectation is this is your school day. Okay, the work needs to get done. Again, if a teacher says you have until 4 o'clock, that's teacher discretion. But as a general rule, we're really trying to get to that school day. Mhm, mhm. That's a great question. Teachers do have prep flex periods, and I know most of them are, they are very good about it. You know, I want to give you a kind of an answer that's truthful. I want to work with it for a little while. You know what I mean? I don't want to overwhelm the teachers either. This is stressful on them too. A lot of them are worried about their own health and safety. They want to get back. They want to get it back in their rooms. They want to see the kids. Okay, so I'm going to kind of kick that answer because I don't want to say, oh, it's 24 hours. I don't want to. I don't want to give like a. But the technology's there, and I know that a lot of them are great about getting kids responses back to them. Um, you know, this is unbelievable. You get this? Um, so yeah, I mean that, and I know one of the compliments, a lot of the compliments we got were how responsive the teachers were for the most part. Um, towards the end with the grading, it got a little bit crazy. Like, oh, I didn't know my kid owed this. I didn't know my kid owed that. And that's why we want those frequent checks. And that's why it helps to be in person too. Because I can email you and I can email you as his mom, but it does. If you're here, hey, where's that assignment? I put it out there for Thursday. You're here again. It's a week later. Like, come on, that kind of thing. Yep. Question is about instruments. Yeah, no, my belief is that they're going to be storing them just like they would have. We're encouraging students who have their own, obviously, to use their own. Mrs. Romeo has met with the music teachers to do an inventory. So if we need to, we're looking at the purchasing some of the larger ones too, like basses, because that obviously it's harder to bring back and forth. But yeah, there'll be places for them, and we're looking to hold orchestra, band, and chorus as normal. Mhm. Yep. In terms of like lessons, I mean, practicing it, that's something that's going to be worked out with the teacher. If it's a larger instrument, again, we're trying to see what we have to be able not to have to bring that back and forth. Something smaller, if your child's not going to be in school till the following Monday, let's say, they might want to take that home, like a flute or something like that. Okay. But please, reach out to your teacher, and they've been working very closely with Ms. Romeo about those nuances with the program. All right. Yep. No, it's good. Yep. Unfortunately, we've decided that that's going to be their first day of school is Thursday. Okay. They don't need to log in. We want them to connect with their teacher first. Okay. They've been out of school for 6 months. We want them to see their teacher. For us to send out a letter for each class that connect with your teacher, see them, go home. You'll be back on Friday. They'll get an extra day that week, and then the following week, the other kids will be back on track again. And then, like I said, with the days, right now it's only 2, and I know it was a big deal, like in the Facebook world. Love you guys. But if we do see that things happen and we have to close up again, then we'll adjust that. But right now it's just the 2 days for cohort 1. Okay. I think we're at a good point, unless somebody has something for the good of the order. So we do feel that the full remote plan and equipping the classrooms with webcams, I think actually not having students in the building, and hopefully it won't be complete shutdown where not even staff can come in the building. It might be a transition time where for a couple of days so we can clean and then we can bring back some staff. That's the way I see it going if it really goes rampant. Again, the expectation is that I think you're going to see more of the videos and live streaming occur because now they'll be in their room and we'll say, okay, now you have to log in when you're not here. I think it actually might work even better if I could say that. Again, in my mind, this is a plan. This is how I envision it, right? This is how I plan to try and work with the teachers to accomplish it. But that's a kind of a wait and see also. But I do believe the things we're getting teachers, equipping them with the technology, it really, I think it'll be okay. Everybody. That was one of the biggest things that changed right away. K to 12, Google Classroom is our digital platform. All right. I'm going to stay behind. Ms. Romeo will be here. If you want to talk about anything, I always like to build in about 10 minutes or so for that. And since the rain stopped, you don't have to run to your cars. All right. Yeah, we did it so that it's small enough. I mean, they're 9th graders now. They probably don't want mom tagging along, but if you feel better about it, still your babies, right? So we made the group small enough. I mean, we'll be monitoring it if we see that there's a lot of people in the building at once, but we did it over 2 days, and the alpha, if you stick to that, we're going to try to have people shooing people out. And it's really more to just get comfortable with the building. A lot of them were here. If their child went through 8th grade, we did the shadow days, so they do kind of know what the building looks like. We'll be giving out their planners and their ID cards. And if you didn't get your schedule, we have a hard copy of the schedule for you too. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you so much. Be safe. And if you have any questions, you think of something, please email me or give us a call. Okay.